118.
In the books,
Almost to
Christopher.
120.
And a very happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank
Mr.
you.
Chris. You are 39 years old now?
I am not.
Oh, okay. You're a 30-something?
Yes.
Above 35, below 39.
Yeah. 37.
37.
I'm 37.
Really? I thought you were 4 years older than me. You're only 3 years and 1 month
Yeah.
older than me.
I thought before I turned 37, I'm like, after you're 36, I'm like, oh, I'm basically 40. And then I turned 37, and I'm like, man, I got a long time till I'm 40.
I'm not 40 yet. You're not in
three
dudes.
more years.
You're not in dude's atmosphere yet. All right. You still got good knees.
I'm going to have a 10-year-old when I'm 40.
Wow. Yeah, you are. I'll have a 10-year-old before that, but 10-year-olds.
Well, actually, he'll be 11 when I'm 40.
Will he? Yeah, because he's going to turn 8 this year.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, he'd be 11. Isn't that weird? I just saw my earliest retirement date. So I was just tooling around on like the government retirement site and everything, like looking at my contributions to things. And it just popped up and it said, your earliest retirement date is, I can retire at 57. The earliest. But that's 2044.
Yeah, that's a long way.
And I read that number and I was like, 2044. Like that's my earliest retirement date. That's 23 years from now, which isn't necessarily that long, but man, I don't know. Thinking about it, it just made me think like, what am I doing with my life? You know, like
what do you mean? You're doing great stuff with your life.
I know.
You're on a
It just
successful podcast.
Wildly.
You got 3 children. You own a home.
I do. Well, the bank does. I'm
You're
paying
like
the bank
basically
for the home.
in charge of the government.
The whole government.
Yeah.
Almost.
All modes of transportation.
Yeah, just on the waterway.
Yeah. Well, but what other governmental modes of transportation are there?
That's a good point.
They don't own the railroads.
Yeah, they don't, do they? Well, they don't own any of the transportation on the waterway.
Yeah, but they own the waterway.
The waterway, yeah.
They don't own the railroad. They
That's
don't
true.
own the well, they do own the highways.
Highways, they do, yeah.
The byways too, I suppose.
What is a byway?
That's a good question.
You just said that.
I hopefully Nolan will chime in on that byway.
Wait, you don't know?
No, I don't know. I don't know what a
I
byway
thought it was going to be like, well, listen here, Jerry. Let me tell you about byways. Because that normally is what happens. But so you have highways, or I guess it'd be interstates, right? So you have interstates and outer states?
I don't know. Let's look it up. What is a byway?
A byway would be a way to go to different places.
A road or track not following a main route, a minor road or path. That's why they say highways and byways. So it's like
so it's like a meaningless road.
Yeah, a meandering.
Yeah, you want to go the highway if you're going somewhere. But if you don't have a time frame, you go the byway.
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
All right.
So we can address the elephant in the room. Obviously, I've done more facial scarring to myself.
You've got a little bit more damage to your face, yes.
I took a spill over the weekend. Got some stitches.
Mm-hmm. Just 4.
I had a bandage over them. Jerry said,
take it off.
Take that bandage off.
You look so much cooler with the stitches. It's less bright as well.
Yeah, it was. The bandage was very bright.
But everybody looks cooler with stitches. It's proven. Like you're going to have ladies commenting tonight being like, hey, Chris, what's your DMs?
It looks exactly like the Frankenstein stitch on like Frankenstein's forehead.
It really does. You need to add some bolts to your headset.
Yeah, exactly.
So that you actually look like Frankenstein.
So, yeah, I just had a bit of a transportation malfunction. Took a tiny little spill. My sunglasses rode up and sliced my forehead.
See, that's why I never wear them.
I shouldn't have worn them. They say to wear eye protection. Don't recommend it.
Well, I mean, eye protection and sunglasses are 2 different things. But no, I don't. Hopefully I can wear sunglasses soon because I plan on getting contacts one of these days. Been fitted. They got my left eye good.
I think Marley's going to get LASIK.
I just told Amy tonight I want it so bad.
Yeah.
Like, is that for sure she's getting that?
I mean, we haven't scheduled it, but yeah, I think so.
So there's 2 cousin-in-laws of mine that have had LASIK, and they both told me the same thing, that it's absolutely incredible. The next day they were basically like normal, maybe a little bit of fogginess, but could see perfectly the very next day. The wild part about the surgery, though, they both said that, you see a laser, it's bright, they numb your eye, whatever. It's bright at first, to do the laser cutting. But then when they grab your eye, like they grab a little flap that they just cut of your eye, and when they fold it over, it just goes completely black.
Ugh.
So you see the flap go over like turning a page, and then your eye goes black. And man, that seems uncomfortable. Like not physically uncomfortable, just like mentally uncomfortable to see your eye go black.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, when I had that retina surgery from this scar.
Yes. I call that the hook.
It was very uncomfortable, which oddly enough, all right, today was my final appointment.
Oh, really?
With my eye surgeon.
And then he's like, what the hell?
And I walked in today with a bandage on my face and 2 black eyes. And he just looks at me. He's like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know, man.
You're like, listen, no fireworks were involved with this one. All right. Just tripped. They're like, seriously, are you okay at home?
I wanted to cancel the appointment because I was embarrassed to go in there after everything. Because I was like, all of the eye doctor, the eye surgeon, they're like, this is a like textbook case.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we've never seen anything like it.
Oh, yeah.
You should have lost your eye. This is amazing.
What a freak.
Yeah, they were like crazy about it. And then here you go with your final appointment finally. And then you walk in. I'm like, I got to cancel it. But I had already canceled it once. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I can't do it.
So why is it so far out? Is that like normal to be this far out of like to get an appointment to look at your eye? It's just after the surgery. They wanted it like 6 months after or something?
It was like a 6-month follow-up or whatever.
So is your eyeball functioning?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, my vision's not quite as good as it was in that eye, but it's fine.
It's not? Really? I thought you had hawk vision.
I do in my right eye.
Just your right eye? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Not eagle vision, but hawk vision.
Hawk vision, yeah. One step.
They got smaller eyeballs, so they're not as good.
Nolan said a rotor track not following a main route. Yep. Dirk said they didn't hurt your eye. I don't know what he's referring to exactly.
I don't either.
But yeah, no. So that's my boring eye story that is getting like way too much traction out there.
Yeah, well, of course it is, Chris. You've got stitches on your face, and people are going to talk about it. So I can understand that, but it looks cool. Yeah. I think, as long as you're sure you're okay at home.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right. I just thought I'd ask.
So while we're talking about that subject, let's pivot away and talk about the big kahuna subject.
The big kahuna is
Snarf Madness.
Yeah. Yes. So I had a post today. I put it out on social media finally today about our Snarf Madness competition, our third annual Snarf Madness. This year we are doing the top 64 video games that Chris and I have curated.
Oh, wait, time out. Dirk said the sunglasses, your eye protection didn't hurt. I didn't hurt my eye.
Oh, well, that's true.
It's true. It just slid up and hit my forehead, but it could have been, maybe I would have had an eye issue. Maybe they saved me.
You would have absolutely lost that eye then. For
there
sure.
You go. He's right.
Good point.
Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, so top 64 video games that Chris and I have picked. And we did go off of like a top 100 or like top 150. We picked the games that we have both played and put them into this list. We auto-generated like the brackets to the matchups because some of them are a little bit unfavorable. I've already had people text and comment on Instagram that some matchups are like, what the heck, man? Like, why did you put these two together? We didn't put them together. They were automatically generated, and we decided to leave them that way instead of ranking them out because we didn't want to have a hand in
we didn't want to be an invisible hand in the market.
Right.
So to say.
So, as with every other Snarf Madness, you are going to do your bracket and try to mimic my bracket or Chris's bracket. You're trying to match us, and we will score them from that. There will be a winner for Jerry's bracket. There will be a winner for Chris's bracket, unless it was like last year where we had one person that matched both of ours higher than anyone. That's rare. Probably won't happen again. Because like I said last episode, if you listened, this Snarf Madness will probably be where Chris and I are the absolute most different.
Absolutely.
I'm going to rank a lot of these games way different than Chris is. So, because we have different tastes in video games, you know? I think it's going to be really fun, but you can get it at where?
Snarftalk.com/madness. That's really the only place to get it.
Yes.
Or you can go to our Facebook, click the link. It's just going to take you there.
Yeah.
You can download it. You can print it. You can fill it out. You can take a picture of it, and you can email it to us at info@snarfcomics.com, or you can scan it and email it, or you can mail it to us, I guess. Yeah. But info at snarfcomics.com is the main place to email it to us at. That's the easiest, because then we'll get the actual, we can print it out ourselves and score them. And guys, this is our most exciting Snarf Madness bracket, so we really want a lot of participation.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to push it out there a little more than we have been. We haven't been hitting it too hard. We haven't got on Instagram, some of these other things. So
I did today.
Oh, you did. Perfect. Yeah. We need to do some more of that, but get it in there. The winner of the bracket is going to win what? A $50 gift card?
I thought it was a $50 gift card along with a t-shirt and a trophy.
And a trophy. Each winner.
Yes, each winner gets a trophy, t-shirt, $50 gift card. The loser, the absolute bottom, will also get a toilet bowl trophy.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely participate. This one's going to be really fun, guys. And if you don't know how it goes, every week on the show, we do our picks for that week, and we reveal the bracket as it goes along, and we comment on how people are doing along the way.
Yes.
Remember, you're matching our brackets. You're matching our picks. It's not your favorites. This isn't your ranking. You don't matter.
No.
You're a peon.
I don't care
you don't
about
have a podcast. You're a nobody.
I don't care about your favorite game. I care about my favorite game, and I want you to care about that favorite game and get it right. Yeah. Okay? I want you to win my bracket. I don't care about Chris's. Like, Chris's means nothing to me, too, because his is dumb. Like, all of your games that you like, just really dumb. Okay?
So my son saw the bracket and was very, very upset that we did not put Fortnite on the bracket.
Oh.
And in retrospect, yeah, we probably should have put Fortnite on there. It is like the most popular game of all time.
Yeah, right now. Like since it came out right now, yeah, it really is. But I'm not sad it's not on there, because to me, it wouldn't have left my first round, because I just haven't ever really got into it. I've tried to play it. I just can't get over the whole building and jumping thing. It's just constantly jumping and building, and I can't handle it. Not even just for me. Like, I don't do that. But everybody else that's jumping around and building, and it's just infuriating. I want it to be more like realistic combat.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Call of Duty kind of guy.
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
If Fortnite was like Call of Duty, it'd be great.
Yeah. But that's why there's Warfare, or what's it called? The new one. The new Call of Duty. No, the new Call of Duty is just called something else.
I don't know.
I have it too, and I can't remember what it is. I don't know. It's good.
Maybe that's a hint right there.
Oh, 2 hints. And now you see the difference.
Marley says, you have to talk about the awesome scooters. They were so fun. Yeah, so this weekend we were out of town. We went to St. Louis. Had a great time. It's a wonderful city.
It really is.
Empty as all get out. Not a soul in the city.
What do you think causes that?
I don't know. It's as if there's some sort of a pandemic.
Oh, no kidding. And people are listening to that?
Yeah.
In St. Louis, apparently.
Jay said, top fan here. How about doing the worst video games of all time? E.T. wins that one. Yeah. I actually did play the E.T. game for Atari.
I never played E.T., but I did play a game called Fester's Quest.
Oh, yeah.
On Nintendo. I actually liked it, but I'd probably put it on my worst games because it's just a knockoff of Mario, really.
Yeah. So anyway, in St. Louis, they have these little scooters, little electric scooters. That's what she's referring to. And they're Uber or Lime, they're called, but you can use your Uber app. Mm-hmm. They're just scattered around the city. Sometimes they're just laying over.
They really are just laying around.
And you go up, you pick one up, you scan it with your Uber app, charges you $1 and then like 30 cents a minute, and you drive it around to wherever you need to go.
How long does the charge last on that?
It tells you on the little screen on there. It says like 10 miles.
Oh, really? It'll go that far?
I don't know if that's even full charge. Like, it depends what charge it is how many miles range it's got.
But I mean, 10 miles is a long way when you're in a city.
Yeah, you're not going 10 miles.
No.
You're going 10 blocks.
So these are sophisticated scooters.
Yeah. So, no, it was a lot of fun. We rode them around. We went to old school steakhouse. So the first night we were there, we had several options. There was Ruth Chris. Mm-hmm. Never been to one.
Ruth's
Chris.
It's really hard to say.
There's the name. Morton's. I've been to Morton's many times.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I've been to Morton's once.
I don't know if I've ever went to a Morton's, but I did go to a Ruth Chris one time.
There's all that stuff, but we're like, yeah, let's go to like a local steakhouse.
Yeah, let's be one of the locals.
So we went to this old school steakhouse called Carmine's.
Okay. Falcone?
Might as well been.
Okay.
It was phenomenal, by the way. It was awesome. I highly recommend it. It wasn't overpriced. Was really good.
No kidding.
Right on the money. Definitely felt like it was run by the mob.
Mob vibes, yeah. I mean, anything with the name Carmine's has to be involved with some sort of sketchy underground business.
It was definitely mob-run steakhouse, but phenomenal. Maybe I shouldn't even be saying that. I don't want to get the mob on my...
Hey, this is all you. I have nothing to do with it. If anybody from Carmine's is listening, I love you guys.
I loved it.
Love what you guys do.
I highly recommend it.
We're not talking about any of your underground
They gave
businesses.
Me a cake. Said happy birthday.
Really?
For free.
No kidding. They just have those ready to go?
Yeah. It's ready to go.
Just happy birthday cake sitting in the cooler, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Probably 30 weeks old.
Well, they probably get a birthday every night.
Did you eat it?
Yeah. It was phenomenal.
Oh, man. Chocolate?
Yeah. It was like a chocolate, like different kinds of chocolate and different things.
Are you a cake guy?
Not specifically. I mean, I'll eat a cake, but no, not really.
Me either. You know, when I was a kid, I felt like I would never fall out of love with cake. You know, I've never been a big ice cream fan. Never have.
I'm not a huge ice cream fan either.
You're not?
Not really.
Man, I like you even more now, Chris. Good.
I like
Everybody looks at me. Best thing in the world.
Yeah. So my favorite I had for my birthday dinner last night.
This is why we started a podcast, is because we both love cheesecake.
Yeah. For my birthday dinner last night, my mom made me dinner. Mm-hmm. I requested...
Which is what you do at 37 years old.
Meatloaf.
Oh, my gosh.
The best. Key lime pie. Love it.
Not a fan. I'm sorry.
Green bean casserole.
I like that.
Cheesy potatoes. Boom. We're all in.
Anything with a potato. You got me. If you would have just said, hey, we got potatoes, I'd be there.
My wife doesn't believe me that key lime pie is like my favorite pie.
It's hard to believe.
And in the top of the running, it's like key lime, banana cream, lemon meringue. Those are my three jams.
Well, I'll tell you right now, we're going to have a top 10 pies.
We can do that.
We're going to do that because that's ridiculous. You've got the three most ridiculous pies at the top three. Key lime?
Yeah, it's great.
What is a key lime? Why do they call it a key?
It's a type of lime. It's a little lime, key lime. They sell them at the grocery store, Jerry.
It's just, I don't understand. What's the difference between a key lime and a regular lime? Just the size?
The size and the taste.
Is a key lime sweeter?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I've always thought limes were just as sour as lemons. Most of them.
They're not as sour as a lemon, no.
Oh, man. Biting into them, I just can't handle it.
Okay.
It gives me that, you know, we've talked about it before, you know, that bitter beer face guy?
Yeah.
The commercial? That's what it makes my face do. Yeah. My whole bottom lip just covers my face. Can't handle it. That's how I feel about key lime pie.
All right. Well, I mean, I like it, so.
But cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yeah, that's not how I would say it. I would cover my body in cheesecake.
What kind?
Just any kind. Strawberry or just a regular New York cheesecake.
Yeah.
Like, give me that. When I was deployed, our cafeteria, or it's called a defect dining facility on our base, I'd go to the dining facility and they had a triple chocolate cheesecake available every single day. And I would get it every single day that I was there. And it is the single best thing I can remember from that deployment is that cheesecake. I've never tasted a cheesecake that was like that ever again.
Cheesecake and Guitar Hero. That's Jerry's deployment.
That was my deployment right there. Cheesecake and Guitar Hero. And one day I had a master sergeant that was in charge of our like motor pool. He was like in charge of the mechanics and stuff. I had my tray Pagoda, Mr. Nathan Klein was sitting next to me, and I forgot a drink. So I get up, go get my drink, and I come back. I immediately notice my triple chocolate cheesecake is gone. And I'm looking around, and that master sergeant was sitting like 2 tables down, and he's looking at me eating this cheesecake because he just knew that everybody knew I had this every day. And I stood up, and I was like, "You mother!" And then our convoy commander was sitting next to me, and he put his hand over my face, and he's like, "Don't you say it." He's like, "You're going to get in big fucking trouble. You better sit down." I was like, "Oh, all right." And then I just went and got another piece, but I was so mad at this big giant, and he was a big dude. Like he was like huge and had this massive mustache, like this big black massive mustache. And he was just down in my cheesecake. I was ready to go to blows. I thought I'd win. So that's my cheesecake story.
Nice. No, so that was St. Louis. Yeah, we and the scooters. I don't know whether they had any involvement in the scar. We're not going there.
May or may not be the case. I can or cannot. Will not confirm or deny that.
So no, it was a good birthday. My wife got me a record player.
Really? Like a legit?
Yeah, which I've been wanting for a while. She got me a record player, and she got me some records. And
Nice.
I opened up the record player, and it didn't work.
No way.
So we had to send it back.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Is it like the suitcase style?
No, it's like it's an Audio Technica, like turntable,
Yeah.
just from Walmart.
Oh, okay.
But it's cool. It's Bluetooth. It's got a Bluetooth speaker. You can hook Bluetooth it to any speaker you want or whatever. She got me. Yeah, she got me some records. She got me Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's amazing. So the last time I made a meatloaf, I listened to Meatloaf, and I thought it was like the greatest thing in the world. And I told Amy that, and she just looked at me with this disgust in her face, like, who is this man that I married? But I thought it was funny. I don't know. And I love Meatloaf. He's great.
Dirk said record player. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Vinyls outsell every other form of
Yes, they surpassed everything
like
again.
CDs and everything. She also got me Guns N' Roses and a Foo Fighters record, and I don't remember what the other one was now. There was another one.
Nice. I've got a couple Metallica albums and a.
Do you have a record player?
No.
So you just have them? Mm-hmm. Why don't you get a record player?
They were given to me as a gift.
They're not very expensive.
I should get one. I just haven't.
Yeah.
And Iron Maiden. I have an Iron Maiden record as well.
Nice.
They were all given to me.
Well, then I got some old ones from my mom's house yesterday because she's got a bunch of old records.
My mom and dad do too. They have a lot of 45s.
Got some of those. I got like all of the Bill Cosby comedy records.
Really?
Yeah,
Can we say his name?
We can say it.
Okay.
And a bunch of other stuff. Just old like 60s artists.
It's awesome. Record players are amazing.
Oh, the Doobie Brothers. She got me the Doobie Brothers.
Who doesn't love a good
Gotta
Doobie
love
Brothers?
'em.
Michael McDonald.
I could probably do a Michael McDonald.
I do a Michael McDonald in my truck all the time. I just don't think I would do it here unless it was a Patreon thing. I would do that for Patreon.
Maybe we'll see if we can get him on that podcast sometime.
Oh, I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
We can pull him down.
I know. He's probably buddies with Aaron Neville. We could probably hook it up. They're both soulful.
Very soulful. I would argue that Michael McDonald is more soulful than Aaron Neville.
Yeah. Michael McDonald, isn't he like the king of
Everything?
Motown? Or, well, he's not.
Not
no,
Motown.
Not Motown. But like that style of music. What do
Yeah.
you call it?
I don't know. Doobie Brothers music?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Doobie music.
Doobie music.
That's what it's called.
For a nice doobie.
Yeah, at night. So my week this week, real quick, was terrible. I started off being very ill for 2 days. I slept for 2 days straight.
COVID?
No, throwing up.
Oh, so you came
Really
here
strange.
to infect me.
Oh, no, I've been fine for the last 2 days. But Monday and Tuesday, I slept more in those 2 days than I think I do in a normal week. And it was weird. I haven't felt that way in a really long time, like years and years. And then Tuesday I slept literally all day, and I woke up at like 3, and I didn't even know how to function as a human being when I woke up. I was like, what is it like to be awake and moving around? And from that point on, I got a lot better, but it was just strange. Hit me out of nowhere. Monday morning, I went to work, came home early, like at 9. I was home by 9:30 because I just knew obviously something was wrong. And then I just didn't wake up again until later on Tuesday. But I got better. And then the rest of the week is kind of a blur. Just because I had so much to do then for Wednesday and today. And it just wasn't a good start to the week. No. So leading up to that, I don't have a ton of news. Normally I got a lot of news to go through. I don't have a ton, but this one little news thing, I don't get it. So a lot of beer companies now have been making different types of beer for the summer, right? Ever since Summer Shandy came out, you get these shandy beers where they put lemonade in beer. I like a Summer Shandy, but not a lot of them.
I'm not a fan.
It's fine. I'll have one or two, and I think, yeah, that's great. And I don't really drink it again after that. Apparently, Natty Light or Natural Light, a lot of the guys call it Natty, though. That's like the slang term. Natty Light is releasing this summer a pineapple lemonade beer.
Okay.
And the article said, Natty Light, upping their game in the beer catalog. And I was like, I just don't think that's really upping anything. No. It sounds horrendous. Who wants a pineapple lemonade beer?
Not me.
Not me at all. And so many people are apparently excited for this release. First of all, I don't know a lot of people that are excited about Natty Light at all. Anyways.
I don't think I've drank a Natty Light since college, so I don't know.
And then when you add pineapple to it, man, not my thing. I just thought it was ridiculous, and I think they need to stop. Put out your beer, like a regular beer. If you want to do the shandy with its like lemonade and whatever, people are going to buy that. But this pineapple thing, stop it.
Maybe it's just a hint, a soupçon of pineapple.
I would hope so, because I don't want to be chewing down a pineapple when I'm drinking a beer. You know, like.
I mean, we'll give it a try. We'll bring it on the podcast. We'll do a review.
You will.
You can take a drink.
Man. The only time I've ever liked pineapple was on my honeymoon. Never ate pineapple, didn't like it beforehand. And then I went and actually had like a fresh pineapple from a place that grows them. Man, it was good.
Yeah, how do you not like pineapple? Everybody likes pineapple.
I don't eat it very much, but if it is fresh, if I cut a pineapple open and eat it, it's good.
Yeah.
But anything pineapple, like canned pineapple, I don't really care for.
Pineapple upside down cake? You ever had that?
I have. I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
Courtney says pineapple juice and beer is delicious. I mean,
I got a bone to pick with her.
Okay.
By the way, so Courtney Hammond just commented on our podcast, and she was also a big time commenter on the whole butter controversy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and she sent me pictures. And Land O'Lakes makes a butter, like regular butter, in a plastic carton. You know.
Yeah, we buy it all the time.
Here's the deal. It's not any better than regular butter. Like, you don't get anything different. You keep this in the fridge, but really you shouldn't, because when you take it out, it's hard as a rock. It's like hard butter. And it says it's whipped.
Are you talking about like the spreadable butter?
That's what it claims to be.
Yeah.
It is not.
It's more spreadable than a stick of butter because they add canola oil in there. They whip it up with canola oil.
This is not spreadable at all. I've tried it. I've been trying it, and I'm telling you, it's not spreadable. It was just as hard to do as a cold stick of butter. The butter that I have in my butter boat on the counter, way better to spread than this thing. Keep it on
the counter. Dirk told us.
No, I know. I always have. My argument was that when I was in the process of cooking and I have ran out of butter in my boat, I go to the fridge, pull a stick out. That's when the issue occurs.
But the tub you don't put in the fridge either.
Apparently you shouldn't. I didn't know this.
You don't put any butter in the fridge, Jerry.
You do to store it for a while.
No.
If you don't need it at the time. I'm not going to keep stacks of butter on my counter. Do you keep stacks of butter on your counter?
Stacks of butter?
Oh, yeah. I buy a lot of butter.
No. Just take out the butter you need, put it in your butter thing.
I do. You can only fit one stick in that.
Get a bigger boat.
No, it's just for one thing.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
For butter, apparently.
Get a Jaws boat for your butter.
I've never seen anybody keeping tubs of butter out on the counter all the time.
My mom keeps a tub on the counter all the time.
She's the only one, but I've never seen it. So prove it to me.
Okay.
Anyway.
I will send you a picture. We don't typically keep ours on.
She says you failed. In the cabinet. I'm not keeping butter in the cabinet. I feel bad. I don't know. I feel like it'll go bad.
It doesn't feel right, huh?
No. Okay.
12, Dirk says 12 sticks in the cabinet. That's how you roll.
I mean, that's where I'd be. I'd be at least 12 deep in the cabinet. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. I've never heard of it, though. I've always seen people keep it in the fridge until you need to use it. And then you put it in your boat, gets to room temperature, and you're good. Anyway. This is a fun little story that I've talked a lot about this Godzilla vs. Kong movie. I'm not actually going to talk about this movie, but the director, his name's Adam Weingard, or Wingard, however you want to say it. And he was in an article, they were interviewing him, and he said he has known the winner of this movie since he was in second grade. And he was in an argument with a friend of his in second grade. You know, he thought one guy, he never gave up who was going to win.
I already know.
But he said he knew who he was going to pick to win, and this other kid had the opposite take on it, and they've argued all through that grade. I don't know about their entire lives, but definitely in second grade, because that's what he said. So he said this movie was the pettiest directing role he's ever had in his life, because the only reason he took it was to win an argument over a second grader.
Except it's not, because they're going to end up teaming up at the end.
Well, but he said, yes, they do that. He said, but there is a clear winner in this movie between the two. And he wanted to make sure.
Who's it going to be?
That there was a clear winner.
Say it on 3. 1.
I want
2, 3.
Godzilla. I want Godzilla to win. I've always been a Godzilla fan.
But
I think it's
gonna win.
Absolutely ridiculous that anybody would say Kong would win over Godzilla. Have you ever watched a Godzilla movie?
He's more mobile. He's faster.
Doesn't matter.
He can jump around the backside
so
of
much
him.
stronger than him.
You can get around the backside of him, choke him out.
He could be so nuclear that it would just burn him up.
Nah.
Did you watch the Godzilla King of Monsters movie?
I did not. I didn't.
You should. You need to watch it.
Okay.
It's the lead up to this movie. And Millie Bobby Brown is in the Godzilla movie. She's in this coming up movie as well. There's just no way. There's literally no way that...
And is Kong Skull Island in the same vein too?
These are all in the same world. So they started it with Kong Skull Island, and then Godzilla King of Monsters came out.
I mean, have you seen Skull Island? He beats up a lot of big lizard dudes.
Not the size of Godzilla.
I don't know. The last one's pretty big.
Godzilla's so much bigger. If you look at him in a cityscape, and then the whole monster he was fighting is so much bigger and so much more powerful than these lizard guys. I just don't know how. I don't know how they can do this. And
he was still a kid in Kong Skull Island. He wasn't a full.
That is true.
Kong.
That is true, and I don't know what the difference in years is from, him on Skull Island to this one
during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, so it's going to be at least 40 or 50 years later. Could be. That's true.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, I do agree with you. I think it will be Kong that wins. I want it to be Godzilla.
Okay.
But I do agree that everybody's pick is the gorilla.
Because he's a primate.
Why?
Because he's a primate. Everybody, I mean, you're conditioned to hate reptiles.
Not really. Not if you're a lizard man.
And you're conditioned.
Have you seen me blink?
To like primates because we're primates.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I want the biggest, most powerful person to win, and I'm realistic. I mean, he would get literally just lasered in half by his nuclear breath.
No, he can jump out of the way in a second.
He can't.
He's so fast.
But as soon as he starts charging up his plates and Kong touches him, he's going to turn into a nucleoid disaster.
We'll see. I mean, Kong's already nucleofied. That's how he got so big, right?
He can't take this kind of nuclear stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
I agree with you. I think you're right.
He was in a napalm explosion in Kong Skull Island.
Napalm's just fire.
Yeah. Ben says us mammals have to stick together. That's right.
I don't agree. I'm a lizard man.
I'm a lizard man.
I'll be a lizard man forever, and I want Godzilla to win. Again, I think you guys are right. Kong will win because the overwhelming majority says like gorillas. Whatever. Next, apparently it's been released today, just like a few minutes ago, right before we started recording, that Marvel is officially starting an X-Men reboot.
Oh, that was my news story.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you can talk about it. I always talk about it.
Go.
I don't know anything about it either besides they're calling it The Mutants.
The Mutants. It just says X-Men reboot, The Mutants in development at Marvel Studios.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Everybody's been waiting for this.
I mean, obviously that won't be the final name, I hope.
No.
Yeah, according to the Illuminati, it's a great name.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Sources say that Marvel Studio president Kevin Feige is producing a new feature film tentatively titled The Mutants, which will serve as an X-Men reboot, introducing the mutant superhero team to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That being said, very little else is known about the alleged project. So here's my question. If they're going into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it seems very unlikely to me that they're going to go back in time, although they did with Captain Marvel.
They did with Captain Marvel, but that was to set up her character within that phase of
So like, it's really going to be hard to do Magneto and Professor X in current time.
Yeah, I guess it will.
I mean,
I never thought about that.
Magneto was around during World War II.
Well, yeah, but he was around after that as well. I mean,
right,
Wolverine was around since...
He doesn't age.
Yeah.
Magneto ages.
Yeah.
Although they could make him not age, I guess.
They could.
But, I mean, I think it's been clear. He was Ian McKellen in those movies. So.
I really wonder if they're going to tie in the whole Wanda and Magneto thing.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think they'll tie that together at some point? Because if you guys aren't familiar, in the comic books, there's a run where Magneto was Wanda's dad.
Yeah.
That's like the Scarlet Witch. Like, that's the thing. Magneto is her dad. And I wondered when WandaVision was happening, like leading up to this, I wondered if they were going to get into something like that, if that was going to be the big reveal at the end. It's not going to be. I don't believe that's going to be any tie into the show, but I wonder if they're going to tie it into any of the X-Men stuff to continue that character. Because, I mean, I don't feel like the Scarlet Witch is going anywhere anytime soon.
No. So this says this will be, I mean, Deadpool 3 is already confirmed. So that's the first technically mutant franchise movie. Yeah, no, I mean, they don't really have any other details other than that. They're going to have to tread.
We knew it was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, obviously, you got to bring back Storm.
Yes.
You know, do you recast Wolverine?
I think so.
You have to, right?
I think so. You have to bring back Wolverine. Otherwise,
I mean, you got to bring back Beast.
The majority of fans will consider it a failure if you do not bring back those characters: Storm, Beast, Wolverine, Cyclops,
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler, all of them.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. When we
Rogue.
get a little more.
Rogue would be good, and so would what's the guy who throws the cards? I can't think of his name. Gambit. They were talking about the Gambit movie, but I mean that was thrown out a long time ago, I guess.
That was still Fox.
Yeah.
I'd like if they did Forge. I always loved that character.
Forge. I never even thought about him.
Forge was one of my favorites from the cartoon.
There's a million.
Oh yeah.
X-Men that they could
Shadow
bring into
Cat,
this.
They're gonna definitely do.
You think so?
Yeah. Colossus
will be in there for sure.
He's already in the Deadpool movie.
Yep.
So, I'm excited about that. That's gonna be great.
I am too. I've wanted them to continue to do X-Men movies and expand on that for a long time. So what we didn't talk about in the beginning of this podcast, Chris, is what we're doing.
What?
We're doing a top 10.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We usually point that out at the beginning. We are doing, in the second half here, we're doing top 10 Will Ferrell movies.
I don't know if you guys know him or not, but Will Ferrell basically replaced the Adam Sandler of our generation. Like, Adam Sandler had his 90s, early 2000s, and then all of a sudden it transitioned to Will Ferrell. Yeah. Like in my age anyways. So my high school years was like all Will Ferrell movies, and they're great.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about. I think I don't have any more news unless
I
you
got
did.
one thing, and I don't want to beat a dead horse on this topic.
Oh, I want to beat the shit out of this horse. I'm going to beat
Gina Carano back in the news.
Yeah. It has never left the news.
It's never left the news. New polls out, and take them for what you want. They're polls, but there's a lot of new polls out. Majority of Americans less likely to support Disney over woke politics and the firing of Gina Carano. So 72% across the board, that's polling all political affiliations, all racial groups, everything. 72%
think it's bullcrap.
Yep, basically.
I knew that was coming.
When first asked, it was 58%. And then when they presented the tweets to the people and repolled them, it went to 72%. Let me find the exact. More than 70% of Americans believe the actress should not have been fired after assessing the social media post for themselves. After reviewing the post, only 28% said it was a right to fire Carano.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that. It's very hard for me to take Lucasfilm and Disney seriously right now with any of their stuff because I just don't agree with what they've done.
61% now say they have a less favorable impression of Disney after the firing of Carano over cancel culture actions that the company has taken.
And the only reason I say that is because there is evidence, like clear evidence of other people saying things that are more like offensive than what she has, you know? And it's the main character of The Mandalorian. Like the main guy of The Mandalorian put out posts that were just overall worse than what she ever said. And they never did anything about that. You know, whether or not she was targeted, I don't know. That's all speculation. But as of right now, I believe it. And as of right now, they haven't done, Lucasfilm and Disney has not done anything to make me think otherwise.
Yeah.
Because they're not trying to fix anything.
They went on further. Survey found that 64% of Americans opposed Disney's decision to close down popular rides at its theme park. After activists said the rides have racist origins and messages, so that would be Splash Mountain. Notably, Americans of color also opposed the decision, as well as 60% of Disney fans. By a 65% margin, Americans believe that companies like Disney have taken political correctness too far, including a majority of every age group tested, Republicans, a majority of Republicans, a majority of independents, a majority of Democrats, the survey found. By 54% also found to oppose Disney's threat to cease doing business in Georgia after the state government passed pro-life legislation banning abortions when a fetal heartbeat is detected. So 54% of people. So that's closer to 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it goes on and on from there. But I just found that 72%.
Yeah, that's
when
a
people
huge
actually
number.
read across all categories, and of course you never know with a poll, but they say it was even across all categories.
Right.
It makes me wonder if there's a chance that she might be coming back.
I don't think that Disney will do that. I don't.
I mean, it would be, there's a possibility in which
even if
this
they
is
do,
all a PR stunt.
Man, I don't think that's the case. But even if they do, I don't know if she would accept it.
Yes, she would.
You think she would?
She'd be dumb not to.
I don't know. At this point, what's the difference? You've already said she's like a bajillionaire because of her family. What's the difference to her if she comes back to play in that show or not?
I would think she'd want to come back because maybe it wasn't the people on that show that are ones that got her fired.
No, but she still has to work with certain people that were involved, I'm sure.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you don't know. I don't know. It's a crazy story, and to be honest, I hate the fact that it is a story, and I hate the fact that it drags down like the Star Wars universe. I love Star Wars, and instead of concentrating on what, you know, the new Star Wars shows are going to be and the new Star Wars movies are going to be, all the concentration is on like all this bullcrap stuff. Like that don't even matter. None of this stuff matters. Like what she said isn't a big deal. Everybody knows it's not a big deal, and everybody's making it into something that it's not. And now everybody knows that it's not a big deal, so they worry about what Kathleen Kennedy is talking about, and they worry about what Lucasfilm's going to do, and you worry about what Disney's going to do. Can we just get back to like making good shows?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like telling me when they're going to come out, and
let people have their opinions.
Because I don't care.
Yeah, and nobody should. And when a bunch of people on Twitter say that they do care, you should ignore them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the people making that show, the co-stars, the directors, let's worry about all of them working together. And if that's a problem on set, okay, then maybe.
But to be honest, have they ever seen a drop in numbers for shows, or like are they not making ridiculous, stupid money off of these shows? Why do you care if a handful of people on Twitter say like, I'm going to get 50,000 people to not watch this show? All right. Well, the other 9.5 million love it. Yeah. You know, like it's probably more than that, you know?
Yeah.
It means nothing at the end of the day. So why pay attention to it? Just put her back on the show and let's get going with Mandalorian season 3.
I'm in.
That's how I feel.
All right. Yeah, I don't have any other news. Do we want to get into the top 10 then?
I'm ready for it.
It's a little earlier than we normally do, but that's fine.
What are you on a strict time frame?
You know, maybe.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm not. So.
All right. So number 10, top Will Ferrell movies. There was some caveats that we discussed before this.
We did,
because we had a couple questions on them. We had decided to throw out any movies that he wasn't like a billable star of. That doesn't necessarily mean he's got to be the number one on the call sheet, but he's got to be a major player in the movie.
So like the number one of this would be like Wedding Crashers.
Right.
He has a good part and everybody remembers it, but he's technically uncredited. He's not even in the credits of that movie.
He's got to be in the credits.
No, he's in an uncredited role.
He has a name.
Telling you.
His name is Chaz.
I understand, but you look it up and it's considered an uncredited role for Will Ferrell.
Okay. Well, anyway, again, he's not a main character. It's a bit part.
Yep.
So we disqualified that. And another one that would have been notable to us anyway would be Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Love the movie.
Which he had a little more to do.
He's got a big part in it, but he's not a major player in that movie.
No.
He was probably the biggest star in that movie at the time.
Mm-hmm. Except for Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, but they weren't as big.
They were massive. I mean, Ben
Affleck and Matt Damon were in it, right?
Yeah.
George Carlin was in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
Chris.
So Will Ferrell was not the biggest name in this.
Okay. Well, anyway, we didn't count that either. So that makes it a little more difficult. Actually, the end of the list is the hardest for me. If I get up a little higher, it's easy.
I agree.
There's a lot to choose from at the end. I'm a big fan of pretty much a lot of Will Ferrell stuff, but there's a bunch that he's done that I'm not a fan of. Like, I'm not a huge fan of all those SNL movies.
Like what SNL movies? What do you mean?
Like Superstar.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Night at the Roxbury and a lot of those movies.
Yeah, me either.
So it's like hit or miss. I think early on in his career, he was doing a lot of those SNL type roles.
Yep. But he got into his own, like he worked into his own type of movie, and he got his own type of movie, and he's done a lot of different stuff.
So this is the hardest pick for me, and that's number 10. I am going with a movie that I haven't seen that many times. I've maybe seen it a couple times.
Okay.
I saw it on the list, and I'm like, the reason I put it on the list is because I'm like, I would like to see that again.
All right.
And it's semi-pro.
Oh, all right.
I remember liking the movie quite a bit, actually, at the time. I don't remember it. I don't know if I should count it in the top 10 or not, but I was looking at that versus some of the other movies, and I'm like, what would I want to watch right now if it was on?
Yeah.
And I would pick that over some of the other movies that would have been against. So, yeah, I don't have that much to say about it. We're at number 10, so whatever.
Right.
There's only 20 movies to legitimately consider, maybe 15. So
right, there's not a ton. I have also only seen like semi-pro maybe once or twice.
I just remember Woody Harrelson's in it.
I don't remember much about
it. I remember being funny. I think, Andre Benjamin.
I don't remember much about it at all, to be honest. And maybe that means I should watch it again because I do remember people liking it.
I just remember Jackie Moon was his name. He had that one-hit wonder, "Love Me Sexy."
Hang on. Nolan put a comment and said, "Are you going to have time for this top 10? I know you want to get to Bed Bath & Beyond and maybe Home Depot before streaking through the quad." I thought that's good.
Yeah.
All right, my number 10.
Dirk said Chaz loves meatloaf. I mean, Wedding Crashers, I had it on my list originally very high.
Yes.
I love that movie.
I absolutely love it as well.
But we decided to disqualify it. So
my number 10, most people are going to have this movie higher. Most people think this is like the greatest Christmas movie ever. But it is, that probably gave it away. It is Elf. I do love the movie Elf. I think it's a very good Christmas movie. Will Ferrell wise, I do believe it's in his top 10. I just don't think it's as strong as other movies because it's funny, it's fun, it's goofy. My biggest crush in Hollywood is Zooey Deschanel, and she is in
More
it.
than Karen Gillan?
Yeah. She's always been my number one.
Okay.
I'd say they're tied as my Hollywood crushes. But Zooey Deschanel can sing, man. She's got that.
So can Karen Gillan.
But she's got a band and actually puts out albums.
Dude, you need to watch Selfie. She sings Hang from a Chandelier, the
Sia
song. Yeah. Karen Gillan sings that.
She does?
And it's amazing.
Well, I'm going to look that up after this.
Yes.
Anyway, so Elf is very good. I do like it. It's relatively short. I watch it every single Christmas, and just last Christmas I remember watching it a couple times. The boys like it a lot, but I remember it like passing by relatively quickly and feeling like, that's it. Like that was the movie. So it's my number 10. I know a lot of people would have it higher, but I think it is right there at
Little
number
known
10.
fact, written and directed by Jon Favreau.
I guess I didn't.
So not
know
only
that.
did
I did know that.
Basically the number one Christmas movie of all time and the number one superhero movie of all time. Now he has like the number one Star Wars thing of all time.
Man, that guy.
And Swingers.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Seems like he's pretty good at what he does.
And Jungle Book and Lion King.
Right.
Just throw those out there too. But
little titles.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. I knew you'd have it higher.
You know, we'll get there. My number 9, again, this was kind of in that streak in the late 2000s where he was like, after I think he made his better movies, but then he was into, he got into that string of like sports movies.
Yes.
All right. And this one is a really just goofy comedy called Blades of Glory.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, again, it's dumb.
With Bill Hader.
Is it Bill Hader? No.
Isn't it a Hader?
It's John Heder.
John Heder.
And Jenna Fisher.
Bill Hader is the
the
other guy from SNL. Yeah.
No, Napoleon Dynamite himself.
Yep.
And I think Jenna Fisher's in it.
Yes, she is.
I don't know. It's just it's a good movie. It's a really funny movie.
That was pretty good.
Kind of an underrated movie, I think. I don't know. I always really, really thought that one was funny. So I put it down as, and he was Chaz Michael.
Man, he likes the name Chaz.
A skillful skater but raunchy sex addict. It was a good movie. It was funny.
I forgot about that. That is a decent movie. I'll spoil it. I don't have that on my top 10.
Yeah.
But maybe I should have brought that up. I kind of forgot how good that was.
So that is my number 9.
Okay. My number 9, again, is one that a lot of people probably have higher. I just have other picks. And this one's called Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby. It is absolutely hilarious. I loved it when it came out. I love racing. I've always been a NASCAR fan. Growing up, I was always a NASCAR fan, and I liked this movie a lot. Thought it was absolutely hilarious. It's very goofy, like most of Will Ferrell's stuff. I just don't think it holds up to the other movies that he's done. There's a ton of catch lines. There's the kid in there that says, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. And he's like, I'm going to be all over you like a spider monkey.
Yeah, it's a very quotable movie.
So many quotes. And this is the first movie, I think it's the first movie he did with that other guy. I can't remember his name. He's done Holmes and Sherlock with him. He also did Walk Hard. Not Will Ferrell didn't, but this guy did.
That's a good movie. Underrated
Dewey
movie.
Cox.
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. He's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly is.
He's
He's of like
in dramatic roles,
top
comedy
tier
roles.
caliber.
He's one of the highest probably tier actors that's out there right now.
It really is. Anyway, they work incredibly well together in every movie that they're in.
Even Holmes and Watson, even though it's the most shit on movie ever,
I've never watched.
it's
I never
not
watched
that
it.
bad. It's got its moments.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Ben? Yeah.
It's not good
I'm sure it
by
isn't.
any means, but
Talladega Nights is with them too. I
Yeah.
thought it was a very good movie, and it's funny.
if you're not first, you're last.
Number 9, and like when he thinks he's on fire, he takes all of his clothes off, running across the track.
You're not on fire, Rick and Bobby.
Absolutely hilarious.
It's a Days of Thunder parody. It's great. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
It is great, but again, there's
And you
others
love
that are
racing.
better.
What are you doing?
There's others that I like better.
I remember that movie coming out at this time. And I'm like, oh my god, we get a racing movie.
Yeah.
There's never racing movies. And then it was like it's kind of making fun of it, but it pays a nice homage to racing too.
I thought it did too. I thought it was a better homage than it did make fun of it.
Yeah.
It's just the specific characters are outlandish,
Right.
obviously. So yeah, number 9, Talladega Nights for me.
Okay, number 8 for me is Elf.
Elf at your number 8. I thought it would be higher for most people.
You know, I'm at the same as you. I'm not a huge Christmas movie guy.
Yeah.
I'm more paying it the respect it's due for being probably one of the best Christmas movies ever made. He's amazing in it.
Yes.
It's a fun, awesome
For being-
Christmas family movie.
Being like a man-child.
Yeah.
If man-child was a criteria, like a scoreable acting skill, he wins it.
Yeah.
Like that's what he does.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. I'm actually like not a huge Elf fan, to be honest. I'm really just not a fan of any Christmas movie, to be honest.
And you put it at 8?
But it's a good movie, and I watch it and
Yeah.
I enjoy it and I respect it as a movie, and my kids like it, so
Sure.
you got to give it its due.
I guess.
We're burning through this list, but go on.
That was your number 8. So my number 8 is, again, I have other movies that I like better than this.
Jeez, how many?
It just, I do believe that these are scored higher on other people's lists, and I agree that they should be scored higher on those people's lists. But I like what I like. This one's called Old School. Old School is like the classic.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about that later. So
Yeah, Old School's like the classic Will Ferrell. Like this is where it started, basically, is with Old School. I remember it coming out. I remember it being something different.
Isn't that maybe where he made the turn from like the SNL character
Absolutely.
to his own
Yes.
stuff?
Yes.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it's in that time period.
That is the time period that happened. I agree. And it blows everything of that time period out of the water because of how great it was. So if we're going to talk about it later, we'll continue.
Okay. 7?
You're number 7.
7 for me. I'm interested to see if you have it on your list. I think you do. I'm not sure. I don't know if people are going to freak out about this.
Okay.
It's Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about it a little more later. I'm just pointing it out on my list. It's number 7. It could be higher. I just haven't lived with it long enough. You know, and it hasn't been around long enough. Maybe not as much nostalgic value to it.
Sure.
But it was, of last year and the last several years, one of the most surprisingly positive movie experiences I had.
Yes. I 100% agree, and we're going to talk about it a lot more later.
Okay.
My number 7 then is a buddy cop film called The Other Guys. I love this movie. It is surprisingly fun. Like, obviously, you've got Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. They get paired up.
Say hello to your mother for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do this because you.
Will Ferrell is like the guy that just gets thrown into this department, or like gets thrown into being his this other detective's like, partner. And there's just so many things in this film that make me laugh so hard. Like the whole desk pop scene where he just gets moved into the detective's like part of the precinct, and they're like, "Hey, did you do your first desk pop?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Like your desk pop, you like shoot your gun off, at your desk. And he'd only had I think he only had a wood gun before that, or he gets a wood gun after this, but he starts shooting his gun off at his desk, and everybody thought it was ridiculous that he actually did it, but he does. And it's that kind of ridiculous stuff that I think's hilarious.
Yeah,
but
Dirk just said desk pop. He also said Iron Lotus, which is from Blades of Glory. But
the best part is when Mark Wahlberg ends up going home with Will Ferrell's character and meeting his wife. And he's got this absolutely stunning wife, like, way out of his league. So you immediately notice like he's way out of her league, or she's way out of his league. And like, how did he pull this wife down? But then the way he speaks to her is out of this world. Like he talks down to her, but he also says like, "Gator don't play that." The shit he says at home is hilarious. And that's why I have it as my number 7, because it's really, really funny. It's a good cop movie too, and
it's fun, and it's a rated R comedy, I believe. Right?
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock.
We don't get enough rated R comedies,
Right.
Anymore.
I agree.
We used to,
and I forgot that it was rated R. I thought that this was more of like a PG-13 type movie.
So you showed it to your kids?
Well, I started watching it with the kids in the room. I was like, boys, this is like Grady was definitely there. I was like, this is a hilarious movie. We need to start watching it. And I turned it on, and I didn't make it maybe 10 minutes into the movie. And I was like, ooh, we gotta stop this one, because it gets pretty raunchy pretty quick.
It's weird, completely off topic, but that happened to me the other day with Transformers. So Cash was really into Transformers at Universal, so we're like, let's watch the movie. And it's PG-13, and I
generally
never
don't have an
restrict
issue.
PG-13 for anything. There is a couple scenes that were extremely uncomfortable in the movie Transformers to watch with your kid.
I don't remember.
Well, first of all, like everything with Megan Fox, it's like there's a lot of sex
gratuitous
dripping in that movie.
Yeah.
Then there's a conversation between him and his parents. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
I had to like hit the skip button and then be like, "Oh, what'd you do, Dad?" I'm like, "Oh, I accidentally hit the button."
Yeah. Just so it doesn't raise any questions.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it in time. I don't know.
It did raise questions.
No, it didn't.
Oh.
All right. So where were we at? Number 7.
That was my number 7. Yes. So it'd be your number 6.
All right. My number 6. Again, we're getting close enough to the top. I will say a lot of people will have this a little higher. It is Step Brothers.
Yes. That's a very good movie.
Yeah. And you're going to have it higher.
We'll see.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it is, but we'll talk about it.
So, it's not one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies. It's not one that I would necessarily go back to above some of the other ones, even some of the ones below it. Mm-hmm. But I got to give it its respect.
Absolutely.
Because it is uproariously funny.
Yes.
And it is one of the most quotable movies of all time.
Yes.
And, as much as it's just like so devoid of plot.
You're right.
It is.
But haven't you grown accustomed to that, like with a Will Ferrell movie of that caliber? Like,
yeah, to a certain degree.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what you expect. You didn't expect like a really plot-driven movie that you get like.
I don't expect it. And if you're not going to have that, this is why you want to not have that.
Yes.
Because there's so many gags, one after another.
It's nonstop. And you have to have it that way in order for it to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have the gags and the funny.
And the gags
every
are
scene.
Actually funny.
Yes.
That's the thing. But it is a movie that can grate on you a little bit. I mean, it's, if you've seen it so many times.
Yeah. To me, it's very rewatchable.
Yeah. It is extremely rewatchable.
Yeah.
Oh, Pan situation.
Yeah.
It's like the best
Did you
part.
say Pan? No N. Pam.
It's
two
just,
M's.
Don't ever like try to peel back a layer and look any deeper into it.
Right.
Like,
yeah, all of those interview scenes where he's like, "Shut up, shut your mouth, shut your mouth." It's like, are you serious? And then he farts, and it's very funny. We'll talk about it. Let's see. I'm on number 6. You definitely have this higher, I'm sure. And it is the Lego Movie. It's the only animated movie I'm assuming we both have on this list. And he also did another animated movie called Megamind, which I do enjoy a lot.
Very good movie.
I like Megamind a lot. I try to get the boys to watch it a lot more than they do. I think they've only watched it once. I think I've seen it multiple times. Anyway, not what we're talking about. Lego Movie. Phenomenal animated movie. And Will Ferrell plays the big bad kind of in the movie, but he's also the dad in the real life segment of the movie. And it's kind of like heartfelt towards that character, really, about like this whole fictional world that he's created. But Lego Movie, it's great. Yeah, he plays the bad guy. You're going to have it higher, so...
Yeah, I mean, not much higher. I have it as my number 5, Lego Movie. Another movie that you go into or went into at the time with zero expectations.
Yes.
And we're completely blown out of the water. The only reason I don't have it higher is because, it's more of a Chris Pratt movie.
It is.
And it's an ensemble cast movie. And Will Ferrell has a huge part in that. And actually, he's one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
The best part of the movie is the people that wrote the movie.
For sure.
Let's call it that right there.
But he acts the shit out of this movie too. Yeah. I mean, the role that he has, I mean, you could tell he was having fun doing that role in this movie. He does it very, very well. And he makes it that much more fun. He's like, what's his name in it? It's like evil. He's an evil businessman or something.
Yeah. I can't remember. Lord Business.
Lord Business. Yeah. I thought it was something business, but it's, I think, incredibly fun, and I will watch it over and over again. But I remember when the Lego Movie was coming out, and I was like, ugh, like that's so dumb.
I didn't even want to see it.
I didn't either.
I just brought my kids. I'm like, ugh.
I didn't go see it. I hadn't seen it for a year, at least a year after it came out, and I just happened to, I was bored at home, and I was like, whatever, I'll check this out. Holy smokes, it blew me away. I was like, why'd I sleep on this thing?
Yeah. And Lego 2 is great.
Yeah.
Lego Batman is great.
I jumped at all those movies because of once I realized like how good the first one was.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't really... we talked about Lego 2. I think we reviewed it when it came out. There wasn't a significant drop in quality. It's just, it didn't take you by surprise the way the first one did.
Yeah. I agree.
So, and Lego Batman is one that grows on you. I think
I loved it right off the bat.
I think
just
we
because
saw
it's
it in
Batman
at the same time. I think we brought our kids.
I think we did too.
Yeah,
but it's a great Batman movie.
It is. It's
I love it.
So yeah, that's my number 5.
My number 5 is Step Brothers. So yeah, I did have it higher than you. I don't have it all the way up at the top, but it's one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies because of the fact that it is so quotable. I mean, my entire life revolves around quoting Step Brothers and Dumb and Dumber. Like, that's it. Those are the only 2 movies I quote. I constantly say, like, you can call me Nighthawk or you can call me Dragon. I just said that to Grady the other day because he was saying something about Dragon, and I was like, well, you can call me Nighthawk. He didn't get it, obviously. I thought it was hilarious.
I constantly say to the kids, there's so much room for activities.
Yes. Oh, that's like an everyday thing. And then this isn't even a Will Ferrell part of it, but it's where John C. Reilly's talking to his dad, and he's like, what if she sees me come out of the bathroom and she sees my chest mane going down to my ball fro, and she says, I've had the old bull, now I want the young calf. And just that kind of crap is absolutely hilarious. The whole boats and hose thing. Yeah. I mean, everybody sings the boats and hose song.
Yeah, I have the song on my iPad.
Yeah.
Or on my iPhone.
Everybody does. So the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
I know you touched my drumstick.
Yeah, he puts his balls on there.
Why are you so sweaty?
Watching Cops. I mean,
and Nolan said it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. And,
yeah,
and
Rob Riggles has an incredible scene where he says like Kobayashi, and he's doing this. Awesome.
And Adam Scott is great. The whole cast is great.
Yeah, and the whole scene with Adam Scott and his family, singing the Guns N' Roses song.
Yeah,
and then. It's not Amy Adams. It's It's Catherine Hahn. Isn't it Catherine Hahn?
Yeah.
She's the one where she's like, I'd like to just wad you up and put you up in my thing. Awesome. Yeah. I want it to be higher than this because 4 seems, is it 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's my number 4.
Well, you've screwed up then because I have not said my number 4 yet.
Oh, no, it's 5. You're right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry. Yeah. So I don't know. It's so cool.
I also know a lot of people that absolutely despise that movie. My wife being one of them. Can't stand it.
Step Brothers?
Yeah.
Really?
I think you have to like that dumb comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you do. Like you said, you can't have any like plot or anything like you don't want a good story. You just want the gag. Yeah. Like everything's a gag in that movie, and I don't know. I think it's hilarious.
Okay, my number 4 is Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights is your number 4?
Yep, that's my number 4. I mean, not much to say about it. It is again one of his most quotable movies. The reason I have it a little higher on this list than maybe you had it is because I actually think it's a pretty good movie. Like it's a good story. I love NASCAR, although I've fallen off big time in NASCAR later on.
Right.
But I like racing. I think it's so cool that they made a racing movie. That's again in the middle there when he was doing all of those sports movies. I think this was the first one. And then he did obviously Blades of Glory, and then he did Semi-Pro, and he did Kicking and Screaming in there somewhere. I just think it was great. So, produced by Judd Apatow. I didn't know that.
Which one? What was produced by Judd Apatow?
Talladega Nights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's my number 4.
Okay. My number 5, or my number 4, a lot of people are going to hate this pick. And I apologize.
I already hate it.
Yeah, everybody's going to. Everybody's going to hate the fact that I have it up this high. But I laugh so hard at this movie, at certain things. It's called The Campaign.
Oh, no, that's a good movie with Zach Galifianakis.
Yes.
I kind of forgot about it, actually.
Oh, my gosh.
I saw it on other lists, and I thought, I remember liking that, but I don't remember it enough to put it on a list.
It's widely like frowned upon because it kind of fizzles out towards the end. The end of the movie and the overall, like, again, like the plot and the story behind this movie isn't that great. It does have the political aspect, but the Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell's absolutely hilarious. Like some of the things that he says, he has a voice recording, like he sends, he calls somebody and leaves a voicemail, but like on an actual, like, you know, what were those called? What were they called when you left?
An answering machine?
Answering machine. That's what it was called. I keep thinking voicemail. I forgot about answering machine, but he leaves a message on an answering machine and they play it back. And it's just this ridiculous conversation he has about a woman. And a lot of this movie is that way. It's like over the top dialogue on certain things that shouldn't ever be said during a campaign run, right? And then Zach Galifianakis' character and his wife and his kids, they're all very proper, and they have this whole scene in the movie where they're like, all right, like everybody's going to go around and just say one thing that they did wrong during the week, or like they just want to get it off their chest. And the different things that their kids say about what they've done, I'm not going to say it on the air just because it's so raunchy like stuff, but if you've never seen it, go and watch The Campaign because I think it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
All right. Yeah, I got to rewatch that. My number 3 is The Other Guys.
Oh, yeah. Marky Mark.
You know, when I was thinking about this list, I've seen all the other Will Ferrell movies probably way more than I've seen The Other Guys.
Yeah.
But it is one of those movies that, like, every time you forget about it, right? And then every time that you see that it's on something, you like want to turn it on. I feel like if I see that it's playing somewhere, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the other movies, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that a million times. But that is a movie always that anytime it's on, you're like, I want to watch that.
And that is because it does have a good story.
It has a good story. It makes you happy. It's funny. It's a good movie. It has a plot.
Yes.
A weak one at that, but still, it has enough tropes that I don't know. It's a underrated movie, I think.
Yeah.
I know no lists have it anywhere near number 3, obviously, but if you look at the body of his work, I think this is one of like the more accessible to all audience. Still has enough of the ridiculous humor, but still has enough of being an actual movie that it kind of is. It works on all levels. It's like all the movies that he tried to do that were funny, that had plot, like Land of the Lost and Bewitched and those movies, which I actually like both of those movies a lot.
I do too.
I actually thought about putting both Land of the Lost and Bewitched on my list.
I thought about Land of the Lost for sure.
And then I didn't remember them. 2 things happened. With Bewitched, I didn't remember it enough to put it on there. And the reviews were so terrible. I'm like, I can't put it in there.
Right.
And Land of the Lost, I love that movie, but he plays such an unlikable character that I couldn't do it. But anyway, there was that stretch of trying to make En-ROADS into a larger audience. Yeah. And this was, I think, the one that landed that the best.
I kind of feel the same way about my number 3 that you've already said before, and it's Eurovision Song Contest. It's got a lot of ridiculous parts in it, but there is such a good story and such good heart, and it makes you feel good the entire time. I mean, obviously in the middle of the movie, there's a trouble, like at the second act, there's trouble going on and you've got to fix that trouble. But the third act and how it all comes back together is just, it made me so happy. And it was such a fun movie to watch.
And it ramps up. It gets you jacked, excited.
It does get you excited. And I loved it. I've watched it multiple times. I think I've watched it at least 5 times now. And it just came out like around this time last year, right? March timeframe last year.
I don't remember.
On Netflix. And I, again, thought it was a throwaway movie.
I put off watching it for like a month because I'm like, this is a joke. I'm not watching this.
Yes, I did too. I think we saw it around the exact same time. I don't remember if I watched it
and then
because
I told
of
you to watch it. Yeah,
I thought I did. And
like everything else.
No, not like everything else. Because my number 2 is not anything like you've seen.
I know what your number 2 is. So.
I know you don't. But yes, if you've never seen Eurovision, you will enjoy it so much. There are some cringy scenes that I wish weren't in it. I do think there are a couple scenes that I was just like, ugh, come on. Like, you didn't need to do that again. Of course, yeah. But like, all in all,
we talked about it at the time. There's like 4 scenes in this movie if they took out or replaced with something else.
Yep. It would be perfect.
It would be perfect. It would be a perfect movie.
Rachel McAdams is phenomenal in it. And I didn't think she'd play well with Will Ferrell. Like, I didn't think they could like have some sort of a dynamic between each other, but they absolutely do. And it's so fun. Go and see Eurovision. It's on Netflix.
Yeah. My number 2 is Old School.
Old School cool.
And I'll tell you why. I think this is like, we have a very small difference in age, but this period, 2003, would have been a very different time.
Absolutely.
Because I was in college.
And I was a sophomore.
Yeah. So, I mean, we both would have enjoyed the same things, but we would have enjoyed it with a different understanding of the world.
Yes.
And this one hit me perfect. I mean, I was a freshman or sophomore in college, and this movie came out. It's about college. It's unbelievable. First of all, extremely well acted.
Yes.
Extremely funny. Vince Vaughn, one of my favorite actors, incredible. Luke Wilson's great in it. The whole cast is great. But it's also a really good movie, like as a movie.
For sure.
And it actually has like a point.
I said I'm sorry.
I don't know. I love that movie. But really, the reality is it's funny, and it's probably one of the original quotable movies. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's like the first major quotable movie that I remember like throughout high school.
I don't know when Super Troopers came out. I think it was before that, that would have been one of the first most quotable. I mean, obviously, like Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, those movies from the 90s.
Yeah.
Those were very quotable. I'm not saying they're not. But this one took it to a whole nother level. Like,
it did.
Snoop-a-loop.
Yeah.
Bring your green hat.
You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love that movie. It hit me at the right time.
Once it hits your lips, it's just so good. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. It blew everybody away when that movie came out because it was just so different and like it reached a different level of like success. Like
Road Trip was a very quotable movie.
Yeah, it was. Road Trip and Euro Trip
around the same time. But yes, I don't know. That old school. I'm surprised you didn't have it higher, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably should have. I probably should have had it higher than what I did. I just like those other movies better.
Okay. That's my number 2. Yours is
my number 2.
Stranger Than Fiction.
I wanted to put this as his best movie because I love Stranger Than Fiction so much. It caught me at the right time. I don't know what it was about it. I watched it the year it came out, which was 2006. I was deployed, and I remember watching it. I just was like starving for movies, and it was just a random movie I bought it at the Iraqi Bazaar. It was a pirated movie. And I remember watching this and I was just blown away that the guy that I had just seen in Old School prior to this, like really the only Will Ferrell movies that I had watched prior to me leaving was like Old School. And I don't even think maybe Talladega Nights came out before that. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
2005, 2006.
All of these movies came out like in that period.
Yeah. But he had a run where he was trying to make...
He was making like 2 or 3 movies a year.
But he was trying to make more serious movies at this point.
Yeah,
like
he had
just started doing that.
I considered putting it at number 10 was Everything Must Go.
Yes.
That was a serious,
I never saw that
serious movie. It's good, but it's a little depressing.
So this movie is somewhat depressing as well, but I just love there's like a love story between him and Maggie Gyllenhaal. I don't remember her character's name, but I don't necessarily like her as an actress all that much, but I thought she was very good in this movie.
Yeah, she was good.
And they played well together. Like they acted well together. They had a good like dynamic or whatever. I don't know. There's a point where he like sits down with a guitar and he sings, and at first you think it's going to be like cheesy and awkward and weird, but it ends up being really good.
Yeah.
And it's super heartfelt, and I just absolutely love it. It's
original, and it's an interesting premise, and it's totally original.
Yes, it's completely original. It's way different than anything he had ever done at that point, and it blew me away. It honestly made me think like he's not a joke. Like he's not a joke actor. He can be a really good actor. He just literally chooses to play those goofy, over-the-top roles. Like that's what he loves to do, obviously. But he can be a serious actor. It's similar to Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey has done a lot of ridiculous things, but he's also been in some really great movies, you know, where he has acted the crap out of those movies.
I think Jim Carrey's on a little bit of a level above.
He is. I'm just saying it's of the same mindset where they're the goofy, absolutely ridiculous characters like he's done in Dumb and Dumber and all those other movies like Ace Ventura and everything he's done before. Will Ferrell has that kind of stuff.
We should totally have done top 10 Jim Carrey.
Haven't we done it?
No, but we're going to do it.
We're going to do that.
That's a great idea because he has way more movies to choose from.
I know my number 1 right now.
I know mine too. And they're the same. So
yeah, they probably are. Anyway, Stranger Than Fiction, it blows it out of the water for me. I wanted to put this as number 1, but you got to give credit where credit is due, and that is
number 1, Anchorman. By the way, on your number 2, Stranger Than Fiction, I just watched it like a month ago. After you were talking about it once, I went back and watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've watched it really recently, within the last 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I think maybe you're giving it a little more nostalgic credit that it maybe deserves.
I love it. I've seen it so many times.
Recently?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, within the last year, I've watched it.
You're watching it with a lot of nostalgia placed on it.
I think it's just
a good
so
movie.
original,
It
though.
is. It's a good movie.
Like, he starts hearing a narrator in his head. This lady is writing a book, and it completely involves him.
This happened to me recently, actually over the weekend.
Where you heard a narrator in your head?
No.
Oh.
where I rewatched something that is one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
Without all and try to actively step back from like my nostalgic feel towards it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I viewed the movie a little differently than what I think I normally would have.
I don't even know how you do that. I don't understand. I don't feel like I come at it with a nostalgic view at all. I just really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Like most picks that I have are a nostalgic pick. You know, like a lot of the older movies because of me being in high school and whatnot. This one is different to me. I don't know. It was such a fresh.
It's a good movie.
Movie to me, and it was so different. And I think it just struck me so much as being a Will Ferrell movie. Like it just blew me away that this could be a Will Ferrell movie, and it was just.
I really like Dustin Hoffman in it too.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman's great, and the fact that he's hearing this narrator in his head, and he knows how he's gonna die, and then he doesn't. Spoilers. I don't know. I just thought it was really great.
Yeah. But number one, Anchorman. It's so good. It is so quotable.
It's the epitome of Will Ferrell. If anybody tries to say otherwise, come on.
And amazing ensemble cast. Anchorman 2 is good.
You know what? I hate to say this. I've never seen it.
Really?
I have never went and watched it. I've always heard bad things about it, and I didn't want it to make the franchise bad to me.
No, it's like the same thing, though.
Well, that's what I've heard. It's the exact same thing, and it wasn't as good as the original.
Yeah, it's still good, though. But you got amazing cast. Like, you got Vince Vaughn, you got Paul Rudd, you got Steve Carell.
Paul Rudd and Steve Carell, besides Will Ferrell in the movie,
you
can't
the
beat
guy
him.
that plays Champ.
I don't know his actual name.
Oh, he's in the Goldbergs. What's his name? Unbeknownst to most people, Snarf Talk translates to a whale's vagina. Yeah, talk about quotable movies. This might be the most quotable movie of all time.
Right, it is. I would scream it from a mountain.
Super Troopers is up there as being very quotable, but this is really very quotable.
I mean, how many people in your life have you heard say 60% of the time it works every time?
Yeah.
Everybody says that. Everybody quotes something from Brick, like, yeah, Brick stabbed a guy. Yeah, you might want to go, like...
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Right.
Milk was a bad choice.
Oh, that one I've said so many times whenever it's warm outside.
I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of
mahogany. Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many. And then he plays the jazz flute.
You can't not love this movie. You can't. It's so good. When
did this movie come out?
2004.
2004. Okay, yes. So this is also a nostalgic pick for me, just because I left the summer of 2004 and went to basic training. And when I came back to school, it was my senior year of high school. And I remember going to auto class, and the wedding you just attended, Jordan Barkley's, he was quoting and talking about Anchorman in my auto class. And we were in the same class. And I remember walking in and hearing him quote all of this crazy stuff about like eating the cat poop and like all of this weird things. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, the movie Anchorman. Didn't you see Anchorman? I was like, no, I've been gone all summer. Like, what is this? And I remember watching it my senior year after everybody else did and realizing like, holy shit, like I really missed out on a movie this summer because it was so good. But I just remember hearing everyone else talk about it and hyping it up and then going and seeing it, thinking you'd be let down by hearing everybody talk about it. No, it just was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. It's one that I don't think of a lot of anymore. I would never really think to rewatch it.
No, that is the problem with this movie.
So many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this movie.
And it's weird to feel that way. Like, I have seen it so many times too, and it's to the point where it's just like, I don't know if I need to see it again.
I mean, that movie...
But I don't feel that way about... I love Dumb and Dumber, and I've seen it probably more times than Anchorman, but I would still watch that in a heartbeat.
If I try and think of movies I've seen as much as Anchorman, I mean, Napoleon Dynamite, I've seen a lot.
Why? Have you
Super
watched
Trooper.
that so many
we
times?
watched it all the time in college. I don't know. But yeah, we watched it a lot. And I watched, they had like a little spin-off like movie afterwards. They had like a direct to DVD. Like it was supposed to be like extended scenes, but it was actually like another movie.
I don't remember.
And then they had Anchorman 2. Yeah, I can't remember what the...
Oh, yeah, it was like Anchorman 1.5.
Yeah, it was something like that, but I can't remember. I can't remember what it was called. So, I don't
either. I don't even know if I'd seen any of that.
Anchorman 2, I remember had James Marsden and Kristen Wiig were in that. It was like a new crop of also like funny people. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I've never seen Anchorman 2, and I need to see it.
Yeah.
I really do. I just, so many people had told me it was such a letdown that I didn't want it to ruin it for me. And I just have such high regard for Anchorman that I was like, man, I don't want this second one to do anything to the original. So
Dirk
I stayed away from it.
Snarf Talk News Team Assemble.
We should have that as a segment.
Yeah,
every week we should say, Snarf Talk News Team Assemble.
So that's it. That's our top 10. I guess let us know what you think. If we're wrong, if we're idiots.
Or if you have one that is different, like close to the top, like how I have Stranger Than Fiction. Chris, I knew wasn't going to have that anywhere close to the top because he's just not as well versed in most movies as I am.
No, that's true.
And some of you guys might have something like that as well that we don't know about, and we want to hear it. So comment on this.
You might have Melinda and Melinda.
I saw that on these lists, and I don't know what that was. I've never heard of it.
I remember it coming out, but I don't remember anything about it or whatever.
I don't know anything.
It was really interesting. When we were doing the Adam Sandler list, we had talked about doing this one first.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, let's save Will Ferrell because that's going to be a better, more interesting list to do.
Yes.
And it isn't.
Not. And it's
Adam
not.
Sandler is a more interesting list to do by far.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah, I do think it's weird. Because when you think of and Will Ferrell, you think of the biggest movie star. But then you realize, like, really, compared to Adam Sandler,
his movies really aren't even close. Yeah, they really aren't. And I compared him to him at the beginning of the show, just similarly wise, like in the way the movies came about. Like, you had Adam Sandler like just shoveling out all these movies in the 90s and coming into 2000. And then all of a sudden Will Ferrell did the same thing. And they're all the same mindset of like the goofy type comedy movie, right? So it was similar in that aspect. They both came from Saturday Night Live and started into a movie
And Will Ferrell did
career.
rated R comedies. And Adam Sandler did PG-13 comedies.
Yes.
Big difference.
That's true.
But
I never thought
Adam
about that.
Sandler's movies, a lot of them they were a little more plot driven. And they definitely had more emotional resonance to them a lot of times than a lot of Will Ferrell's movies.
I agree. Like. Yeah.
And he's taken bigger stretches with his career over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why when you brought up Jim Carrey, I thought, that's interesting because he'd be even better to do than both of them.
Yeah, he would.
He's had a longer career, a very varied career. He's been in way more stuff. I would imagine. Yeah.
The reason I thought we had done them is because of the top 10 like 90s comedies.
Yeah.
And I think I had an Ace Ventura or something on there, both of them or one of them, something like that. But Jim Carrey's movies would be a very good one to do because there's so many that are good.
And I'm not going to have a lot of comedies on my Jim Carrey top 10.
I mean, I'm going to have a few, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird to think about when you think about Jim Carrey, that you're only going to have a few comedy movies and then we're going to actually be talking about serious, like...
Well, I don't know. It's probably about even, right?
Nowadays it is, but thinking back at Jim Carrey, I don't know. It's crazy to me that the path that he's taken.
Yeah.
And that he's not as prevalent as he should be.
If our listeners have ideas of who they want us to do, we should take some ideas from other people.
We should do a poll. Like a legitimate poll on
do a Facebook poll
of who, like what top 10 you want to hear or whatever topic you want us to talk about.
Yeah. We got some time left. Do you want to do some what we're watching?
Yes.
I have several things.
I'm glad you do.
They're not really long to talk about, but...
I only got two.
All right. I'll talk about a couple things. I watched or tried to watch the Golden Globes.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Nolan said top. Oh man, we got a lot of comments. Dirk said Will Ferrell's SNL highlight, the outtakes. The Will Ferrell SNL DVD,
yes,
is incredible.
It is, and I have it.
I have it too.
There's two of them. The first one is better than the second, but yes, amazing.
I still love the. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, where he's on this, and he's puking. Yeah. He's on that spinner thing.
Love that. I did that in my house this winter while it was going on the hoverboard.
You did?
Yeah.
Then you puked all over your house?
No, I didn't.
That's awesome.
Nolan said top 10 Tom Hanks movies would be great. Correct?
Absolutely.
We are going to do that next.
We will do that.
That's a great idea. Because we've done a couple comedians here.
Yeah.
We should definitely do top 10 Tom Hanks.
Yeah, we really should. That's a good one. Old Prospector. Yeah, that's definitely a good character of his.
Yeah. He's got so many great SNL characters.
Yes, a ton.
Anyway, I tried to watch the Golden Globes. Tried being the operative there.
Yeah.
I couldn't even partake in even the littlest bit of it. It was like...
Wasn't it all over like Skype or
Zoom? Like Zoom? It was Zoom. So they had Tina Fey in New York and Amy Poehler in LA. And they had audiences there. Mm-hmm. Of healthcare heroes in the audiences, right. And then all the celebrities were on Zoom, and they did it like that. And Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, huge fans of both of theirs.
Yes, I absolutely.
They
love
definitely had some funny jokes here and there. I mean,
they work phenomenally together.
Yeah, but it was fine, and it wasn't great. And then I tried to I'm just gonna fast forward all the way to they.
So you recorded it.
Yeah, till they announce whatever the category is and whoever wins.
Okay.
And I tried it for a couple of categories, and I'm like, I just can't. I can't do this. I can't. I don't know if I'm
because of the format, or
I don't think I'm going to be able to watch an award show again. These people are so unbearable.
They really are. It is becoming more and more over the last 5 to 10 years, I would say. I would say 5, really. I mean, not even 10. I would watch a lot of those award shows all the time, like the Oscars and Golden Globes and all of them. I would watch them all the time, and it didn't bother me. But really, over the last 5 years, it has just gotten so...
It's so steeped in politics. That's identity politics.
But that's not anything it should be. We're talking about entertainment. I want to see you act as a fake character. I want to see what you do in that world. I don't need your opinion on something that you have no bearing telling me what I should think. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. They get up there as a platform to tell you what you should think because they think it's right.
Yeah.
And that's not what you should. You're not a politician.
It's just
you should have no.
Every single thing, every comment, everything is about. It's just all diversity. It's all they're talking about. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are making jokes, and then they stop to make a serious message about diversity and stuff. And I'm just like, stop it. No one cares. Pick the best movie, pick the best actor. Yes. Let's move on. Do your speech. And this is why I love Ricky Gervais. He hosted it last year. They had 17 million viewers.
Because he's relatively normal and he has an opinion.
And he's not, and he's not
that anybody else would.
He's not bowing to the woke mob.
Right.
But their viewership dropped 65% this year.
I feel like that's a significant number.
Yeah, it is. And they are blaming it on the fact that everybody's sick of Zoom calls. So that's why they didn't want to watch it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We'll find out next year.
Yeah.
When you don't,
when
the
they
next
beg
time
Ricky
you
Gervais
don't
to come back.
Yeah, and they will. I don't know if they'll beg him, but they'll get somebody else in there that's similar and think it'll fix it.
I don't know if you can get anybody better than Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. They're phenomenal.
And they've had huge ratings in the past, and that's why they had them there, because they were so
good
at
it. Did they do the Oscars or did they do the Golden Globes?
I think they've only done the Golden Globes. I didn't think they did the Oscars.
Okay.
But,
well, anyway.
But they've done it multiple times.
It was unbearable. I'm a fan of movie award shows. I want to be a fan.
I do too.
I just can't.
I'm a fan of the business, right? Like the entertainment business and movies and shows that I like. I want to see them awarded for what they are doing. I want to see these good shows awarded for what they do. And I also kind of look at it as different things that I haven't seen winning these awards. Then I go back and watch this stuff because it could be very good, and it's a way to learn that.
And sometimes it is.
And it's a way to get into new movies. But the way it's been, it is unbearable because it doesn't need to be political. You are an actor. Just act. I don't need you to tell me to save cows or to eat vegan or to vote for a certain person. Just act and get off the stage. Accept the award and say thanks. I'm going to probably play something again next year.
Yeah, let's judge the movies and the actors based on their performances.
Yes.
Let's judge them based on that.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to be doing.
So, anyway, I don't recommend.
Okay. Good to
Snarf
know.
does not recommend. I'm just going to assume you're on the same mindset as me.
I am.
You go ahead. You got one?
Yeah. So this one's a little off the wall for me, but while I was dying, I woke up and decided to watch a documentary. And I've never been a big rapper or into rap at all.
Ooh, I have.
But there's a documentary
You used
about...
to call me White Smoke.
Oh, really?
Yep, that was my rap name.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's a documentary on Netflix about the Notorious B.I.G. Big Papa.
I saw that and I really wanted to watch it.
I wanted to watch it because I wanted to know more about his life, obviously. I know, obviously, the main songs that he has and stuff like that, but I didn't really know anything about his career. I didn't know anything about his life.
Were you a fan?
Not really. I mean...
See, I was a big fan when I was a kid. I had CDs and...
It was fine. It just wasn't the type of stuff that I listened to. Like I said, I knew it. I thought it was good when people would play it, but it was nothing I would listen to on my own.
Yeah.
But going back and watching this... It doesn't change my opinion on what I'm going to listen to music-wise, but it was a very interesting documentary, learning about him and the people that were around him and his life. His mother blows it out of the water for me. She's an amazing lady. She's so down to earth. They were from Jamaica, and she would take him to Jamaica every summer just to go back and visit family and whatnot. She'd save up money and they'd go back to Jamaica every single summer. And then he'd come back and when he'd go there, his uncle and other people there would rap and he'd learn things from them, but they'd also listen to R&B stuff. And what I thought was interesting is that everybody that was close to him said you would never hear him rap or do any of that in his spare time. You would only hear him sing. And he would sing R&B type songs or be very melodic in the way he sang. But then all of a sudden when he'd go and record, he'd record his music, but it was all influenced by that kind of stuff. And I didn't know that, but listening to it and watching the documentary, you could clearly see that it was. But his mom was awesome. She didn't know a single thing about his rap career until a neighbor lady came over and said, I heard your son's album and there's just so much profanity on it. I couldn't listen to it. And she got so mad when he came home. She scolded him and yelled at him that he's using all of this profanity and what is he doing? I didn't raise you this way. And I just thought it was really funny. And then you have an interview with, his name's Chris, but you have an interview with Chris and he's like, yeah, I just kept telling my mom, don't listen to my music. Don't listen to my music. It's not anything you're going to like, And he just lived a different life than his mom ever knew. But she was a drug empire. What he started getting into. But for a while, he didn't do anything with drugs at all until later, a little bit later on in his career. But he started his career very young.
Yeah,
he was 22 or 21 when he first came out. But by the time he was 23, he was just massive.
Yeah,
and he was 23 years old. That is so incredibly young. Your brain doesn't even develop until you're 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how young he was. And I had no idea that he was really that young. But it's a great documentary. I think anybody should watch it, especially if you grew up in that time frame. It was just really interesting. You'll really enjoy it if you go back and watch it. But I thought it was really cool because one of the guys that was with him videotaped everything all the time. He said just one day he picked up a camera and popped a tape in, and he just started taping like some things. And then all of a sudden it became like, I'm going to videotape every day, all day. And that's what he did. And that's how they made this documentary, is just all of that cool footage that.
Why haven't you done that for me?
He videotaped. I was thinking the same for me, actually. Why aren't you? We should videotape each other all day, every day.
Yeah. We're going to have to like quit our jobs, but yeah.
Oh, done. I'll quit.
Yeah, I really want to check that out. That looks cool.
It's pretty neat. I like it a lot. And seeing, what's that one guy? Diddy?
P. Diddy?
Yeah, no, I think it's just Diddy.
Sean Puffy Combs?
Yes. Seeing him on there, he's fun.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I watched a movie, or I've been trying to finish watching a movie for a week now.
Oof.
Doesn't bode well.
No, it doesn't.
Irresistible. It came out recently. It's on HBO. It was Jon Stewart wrote and directed this movie starring Steve Carell, where he is it's after the 2016 election. He's a bigwig, like Democratic, like campaign manager.
Okay.
They lost, and it was like,
man, this doesn't even ring a bell. I'd normally have seen something about this stuff, but I don't.
Yeah, so it's basically about him like in shambles after the 2016 election. It's very political.
Of course.
And it's about like, oh, we got to go out and find like the future of the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. So they go to this small town in Wisconsin.
And find Joe Biden.
And find this, like, they call him the Colonel, which is like old ex-Army colonel living in Wisconsin. He's like an everyman, but he's a Democrat.
Eating cheese.
And so this is like the presidential campaign manager would have been for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
At the time. And he goes there and he's like, this is the guy. This is going to be the future of the party. So the first step, right, this is in this little town like the size of Morris.
Yeah.
And he's like, he becomes his campaign manager to win mayor of this town.
Okay.
And before you know it, the head Republican campaign manager, you don't want to let him win. So they come out and back the Republican mayoral candidate. And it does have a lot of interesting points to make about like money and politics and the point of it all and what is it really. It's got some interesting points to make.
What is it really?
Well, there is a good scene where he flies. They're like embroiled now for this little city mayor in this huge election, national coverage. They need all this money for these campaigns. It's a big deal, right? And the joke of it all is obviously they can call everybody in the town and do a poll, because it's not a big town.
Yeah.
But they get a private jet. And they fly him to New York City to meet with all these like super liberal benefactors, donators to the Democratic Party, because like we got to support this guy. This is the future of the party,
right?
And this guy's like Steve Carell's character is like sold on this guy. He's like bought in. He's like, this is the guy. Like he's so raw and real. And there's a little bit of like talking down to him, like you're so real, But that's like an insult in a way, But they're aware of that. Like the movie is aware of that, which is good.
Okay, good. Yes.
But so he goes up in front of these people, and he wants this colonel to give a speech to all these rich, elitist liberals in New York City to get them to donate $1 million or whatever. And he's like, this guy's just like, this is the problem. He's like, I got to fly on a private jet to New York City to convince you people to give me money so I win a campaign about it, so I can save my town, basically. Yeah. And you don't. So I gotta raise millions of dollars from these rich elite people in New York City to save my own town, instead of just saving my own time,
doing
the work. It's a good scene, and it is, and that's like a turning point in the movie.
Yeah, and I feel like I know Jon Stewart.
He's pretty. I know he's He's leftist, but he's always been pretty good, much better than Trevor Noah.
Oh yeah,
about like giving both sides
towing the line
a little bit.
A little bit. He is a leftist person
in his,
but the genuine take that he has on most things, on helping people and trying to get things taken care of in his own life, like in his own personal life.
Oh yeah, he's done some incredible things with veterans.
He's done a lot of incredible stuff. He's involved right now with like burn pit stuff. That I'm on a burn pit registry because like on our base they were just incinerating things, right? And they said that it could cause a lot of like sinus problems or like respiratory problems, which I didn't think about for a long time. But as soon as I came home, I had a sinus surgery because I couldn't breathe. And I never really thought about that. And that's when I was like, maybe I should get on this registry real quick to make sure that they know that I'm a person that was there at this time. But then he's been involved with that because the government's completely ignored it. And then there's just so many things.
And then the 9/11
thing. Yeah.
And he's like instrumental in that.
Yeah.
Those guys were fucked over.
Big time. And he's done very good stuff.
They have died at like a rate of like 70 times the national average.
Right, because of all of
cancer.
all the stuff that they were breathing in.
Which, I get it, it's part of the job, but support them.
That's
support
the
their
thing.
families.
The families and whatnot.
I don't think any of those firefighters or those families are out there saying like this is unfair. They knew what they signed up for.
Yeah.
But you have to support them after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So he's done very good stuff. So I would assume that in that movie you would have something like that, a scene where it might resonate with you to say like, okay, I understand that. But the majority tone is going to be...
For sure. There's no doubt about it. But it's fine. I'm not an overly political person. I mean, I have my opinions, but I can watch a movie that's about the other side that might not be my opinion and enjoy it. And be
over a week.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally fine. But here's the deal. It's not very good.
It's not a good movie.
I'm trying to finish it. It's like one of those I keep falling asleep because it just doesn't keep you.
I give up after a certain point. If I fall asleep 2 nights in a row to something,
it's been 5 nights in a row.
I don't watch it again.
So
do you need to see the ending?
The only reason I'm coming back is because one of those nights I woke up at the ending and something completely 180 degrees from what I expected had happened or was happening. And then I fell right back asleep. And I'm like, I got to see
what
that was.
Yeah.
Or if it was maybe it was a dream. I don't even know. Mm-hmm. I only got like 30 minutes left. So I think something...
So you can finish that.
Yeah,
that's easy to finish.
I'm going to do it tonight. I think something big happens in the end, and I don't know for sure.
Like an assassination?
No.
Oh.
So it's fine. It's a little pandery. It's a little over the top. It's not particularly good. It has some moments. It has some good acting. Steve Carell is
great.
Such an incredible actor.
He's very, very good.
But
at what
here's
he does.
the thing. If you want to watch a Steve Carell do his best work, then watch Space Force. That show is phenomenal.
Okay, I need to go back and watch that. I never did get past the first episode. I mean, not that I didn't get past it. I just didn't go back after watching the first episode.
And boy, talk about a show I had no interest in watching at first because I'm like, I don't want to put up with all this.
Yeah, I didn't really either.
Liberal bias bullshit.
And even after the first episode, I kind of felt the same way.
It's good.
There's only one season of that, right?
Yeah, 1 season.
Yeah.
I got a couple more things. I won't gloss over. I'm kind of catching up on like regular television.
Are you really?
I realized I hadn't turned on my DirecTV in 2 months.
I don't watch regular TV at all ever.
So I popped it on. I had a bunch of like Goldbergs recorded. So I've been watching that. Love that show. This season is not good.
Oh, that's too bad.
Superstore, I still continue to love this show. I don't know why it doesn't get more attention.
I don't know why it gets your attention.
It's good.
I've only seen a handful of episodes, maybe. And I thought they were fine.
It's really funny. And I'm liking the new season. I like the show a lot. I'm bought in, I guess, to the characters at this point.
Yeah.
But one new show that is on network TV I'd never even heard of.
Yeah.
I saw a commercial for it. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to record that. Recorded it. I've watched 3 episodes now. I love it.
Okay.
It's called Young Rock.
Oh, I've heard of this.
It's The Rock, and it's set up as an interview format. He's running for the 2030 presidential election.
Like the actual Rock?
The Rock,
okay,
as himself,
okay,
is running for president. Unless it's like 2032, and it's like the premise is he's sitting down in an interview with Randall Park, who I love, playing himself, and he is like the Dateline, like the 2020 host,
okay,
at the time, and he's like getting The Rock's life story because he's running for president.
And then they flash
back to all through his childhood, and it's really his childhood. They're real stories from his life. I had no idea that his dad was a world famous wrestler.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he grew up with Andre the Giant.
Yes, so I knew his dad was a wrestler and he grew up around wrestling and was like brought up in the wrestling community. I guess I didn't know he grew up around Andre the Giant at all.
That was like his uncle, basically. They all wrestled in the same company. Him and Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Rocky Johnson.
Oh, wow.
All these guys. And it's just this wild look.
Jake the Snake.
I haven't seen him yet. I've only seen 3 episodes. This wild look at wrestling in the 80s. And their life and his life growing up. It's a fun, happy show. It's funny.
I have heard very good things of it.
The Rock
I did hear about
such a positive force in the world.
Yeah, he really is.
He really should be president.
And to be honest, I think he has had serious talks or serious thoughts about running for that, like in the future.
Be a big pay hit for him, but yeah.
Not really. You can still get stuff while you're president. And he's got so much money now.
Well, anyway.
What's the difference?
I'm enjoying it. I've missed a bunch of episodes because I came in late.
Yeah.
I don't have them all recorded, so I'm assuming they're on Hulu.
Probably.
It's an ABC show.
Yeah, you would be able to watch it on Hulu.
It should be on Hulu. It's a Disney show. So
there was a show, Superman and Lois.
Yeah, it came out. I haven't watched it.
For the longest time, I thought it had been out. I thought it had been out for a while.
It just came out.
That's what I'm getting at. I thought it was out for the longest time, and I was like, oh, man, I should go and watch this show. And then I realized, oh, it's only 2 episodes in. It literally came out a couple weeks ago, and it's getting relatively good reviews.
Where can you see it on?
It's on the CW, so you can't watch it on Hulu right now. You'll get it on Netflix, but after the season finale. It's 8 days after the season finale. You can watch it on Hulu Live when it airs, but you can't watch it after that. Well, because I looked into it and you can't watch it after that. So I'm not really sure where you can watch it. I don't think
there's a CW app because I think they got a Netflix deal.
They do, and that's so. The only deal that they have with Netflix is that after the season is over, 8 days after the season finale, they will put it on whole season on Netflix.
So I saw it dropping. I thought, I have DirecTV. I'll just record it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? I just want to wait till the whole season's out and binge it.
I thought there was a lot more episodes out. That's why I was going to look into it and found out there was only 2. So I want to watch this though. I think I want to watch this show.
It looks good. It does.
I like the fact that Superman is in it. And he's in a suit and he's flying around, and it's like the show from the 90s.
Yeah, the show we grew up on.
Yeah, I want to see that, and it really intrigued me. But I haven't seen it yet. That wasn't anything I've been watching, but I want to watch that. Yeah. But one I have watched that we'll talk about real quick. We've talked about it every week since it's been out, is WandaVision.
Yes, WandaVision.
Episode 8 came out last Friday. Episode 9 is going to come out tomorrow, but if you're listening to this audio-wise, it has came out last Friday. We will talk about it again coming up. The season finale is number 9. 8 came out, and all along we've been saying, you need to watch this show. You need to watch this show. I still believe that you absolutely need to watch this show. I just feel like they could have done better for episode 8.
Yeah, episode 8, we talked about it. It was a bit of a disappointment for me.
Yeah.
It gave us what it thought we needed or wanted, but in retrospect, we realize now that it was just boring. We'd figured it out.
And you had said it in a text message that I agree with, is cut the mystery crap out. At this point,
advance
you're
the story.
You're like the penultimate episode of this season, and you're going to still continue with this, like, ooh, what's behind the curtain? What's going to happen after this? Like, stop it. We know what's going on to a certain point right now.
Enough. We know enough.
Yeah, we know enough. Tell us what, Agatha Harkness is doing. You laid out what, Wanda or Scarlet Witch is doing and how she got Vision and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. I liked that part of it. I liked that they show that it wasn't just her storming in and stealing him.
I just didn't need 40 minutes of it.
I know. I had told you,
20 minutes of it?
They could have given us this as like the third episode, and I would have been happier because it would have set up the season.
Right.
I felt like this is what could have set up the season for a really great story going forward, but it's aggravating to know that there's only one episode after this. What can you possibly give us now that is in a 40-minute episode or 43 minutes, whatever you're going to give us, that is going to blow me away to where
it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
If you would make it 10, 12 episodes, fine. Otherwise, you should have cut the whole 8th episode and made it 15 minutes and then added another 30 minutes of story.
Yeah.
We need the story to advance forward. We need more of the
answers.
side characters, which are more interesting than the main characters.
The overall, like what they've been doing this entire season is continuous episodes of no story advancement and more questions than answers every single episode. So it started to change a little bit once you got into like 5th, a little bit, then 6th and 7th. You're like, oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. And then 8th goes right back to like episode 2. Where you're like, what is happening?
We get it.
I got it, but what else is going on? Give us a little bit more. We're not stupid. Like we're not a dumb audience.
Yeah, you don't have to lead us through that. You don't have to hold our hand.
I felt dumb after that. Like I felt like a dumb audience member you've got such a great story, we can't get it. But now I still feel like after episode 9, and again, it sounds like we're ragging on this overly hard. This is still a great series.
It's an unbelievable show. It's a must-watch. I do love episode 8 at the very end.
Yes.
You're a Scarlet Witch.
Yes, I think that's great,
that's
too.
a great line.
And I think episode 9 will be really great because it's going to reveal a lot of things, but it's not going to give us a payoff. It's going to reveal these things. And then, again, this is to set up phase 4, but it's going to set up phase 4 with just more questions with no answers, and we're going to be left, in the mud, wanting
Dude says, it
more.
makes you want season 2. It's something different. That's what drags you in. Yeah, I mean, I agree that the series has been something different, and I applaud that.
Yeah.
I'm specifically talking about episode 8.
Yeah.
Which, to me, if I know that it ends at 9, I consider to be a wasted time.
And that's my problem, is that we do know it ends at 9. And
I'm fine with a mediocre episode 8 if I know there's 12 episodes.
Sure. Yeah, I
can't
completely agree with that.
Yeah. But I don't need 20 minutes of trying to understand past trauma.
We get Agatha Harkness, like that whole scene with the witches and stuff took so long. It was unnecessary. It didn't give us any answers to her besides the fact that she just
Wanda
absorbed these witch powers.
Their past trauma. Like, we get it.
Yeah. The only thing you got out of that is that she enjoyed sitcom TVs, like the old school sitcoms. That's what you got out of that. It's like, where did the sitcom come from? All right, well, we're going to sit through this whole war scene and your whole house being destroyed and all of this stuff happening just to get that.
You liked Bewitched.
You liked the Mary Tyler Moore or Dick Van Dyke Show. Like, that's what you were telling us? Yeah. Okay. It was aggravating, to say the least. It's a fine episode. It just was slow and unnecessary.
It sure takes the steam out of a train that was a-rolling.
Yeah. It did.
It was really building to something, and it takes steam out. Episode 9 could blow us away.
And at the end of episode 8, we do get a reveal of a different Vision. So in the comic books, this is a spoilers, by the way. FYI, like if you don't want to hear it, then I'm sorry. either pause it or whatever, listen later. But in the comics, there is a white Vision, and it is created by Sword in the comic books for a different reason. Like Ultron comes back, but it's like a fake Ultron that was created also through this Vision character. And so people are skeptical that an Ultron type character could come back in Phase 4, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But they did reveal that a white Vision has been made by Sword. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a big deal in the future, especially for Wanda.
I don't think it was quite the payoff that they were expecting it to be, but
no, I don't think so either. It just, that is revealed that they have this. It was kind of foreshadowed when he talks about like, well, we can't have this, sentient weapon running amok. Like he's literally talking about how powerful Vision could be. And it kind of tells you like, oh, well, he obviously wants that power for himself. And then at the end of the episode, he clearly has that power for himself because he's created it. So it makes sense. I think episode 9 is just going to be a little bit more of that. And again, end with more questions than answers.
I think it'll end with a big bang that sets the movie universe up. But you got to remember, our next movie is Black Widow, and that was meant to debut before
this. Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get a lot,
not out of that movie. But I'm excited for that movie still.
Super excited.
That's a great character, and that's going to be a great movie. Yeah. You should have seen it. When was that supposed to come out? Like last summer?
Yeah.
Last May. Yeah, last May. That's what I thought. So it's almost a year later, and we still haven't seen that movie because they refused to just release it on Disney Plus. They want to have a theatrical release.
I'm glad they're doing that.
They could have a theatrical release right now and release it on Disney Plus.
I want a theatrical release that makes $1 billion, though.
Yeah.
We need it. Our society needs that movie.
You're not going to get it, though. They could release it right now, and you're not going to have $1 billion movie.
But they're going to release it in May.
And you're still not going to get $1 billion movie.
I don't know.
I don't think we will see a $1 billion movie again for a long time because you're just not going to get the crowds.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
And that's sad.
Anyway, Snarf, patreon.com/snarfcomics is where you can go to support our show. Check it out. Once again, most important thing you need to do right now is hit the share button on this video. Share it to your Facebook page. But the even more important thing for you to do is go to snarftalk.com/madness. Download a bracket. Get in on the Snarf Madness 2021 tournament. It costs you nothing. You have the option to win a $50 gift card and a t-shirt.
Yes.
Why would you not do it?
And get them filled out now. Like you need to get them.
We're going to start this in a couple weeks.
Fill them out and send them to us because once we start the contest, if you've sent us a bracket after we've started the contest,
you're disqualified.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
You're cut because we've started telling you our picks.
You've cut to the core of me, Baxter.
And there's a quote, Anchorman quote. So if we're starting to make our picks, we can't, take your bracket. You may have cheated. I'm not saying you did, but you might have.
Yeah.
And we don't know that for sure. So get us your brackets now. Email them to us however you can. Picture, scan it, whatever. But email it to us at info@snarfcomics.com.
That's right. And for Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.